I'm going to show you how to do the easiest form of printmaking ever, using skulls as inspiration. Start with a piece of black construction paper and fold it in half. And you can do this any size. I cut mine a little bit smaller. Then what you're going to do is you're going to sketch half of your subject on one side. I'm using a very simple human skull for an example, and I did look at an image, and because my brain just needs a little extra help, I cropped my image to only what I was seeing so I didn't have to stress about the other side. For some reason, probably because I'm right-handed, I always do this on the right-hand side, but you do you, it doesn't matter. It's a symmetrical print, so it will print on either side. Think about when you're sketching, what areas do you want to leave black and what areas do you want to have white? You could do this in multicolors, but I'm going to keep things very simple, very spooky, and just focus on a black and white skull. You can keep things very simple with your design, or you can go crazy and do a lot of detail. If you're feeling brave, you can skip this step and freehand it, but my students always preferred to sketch things out first, and I will say it usually led to better and more confident works of art. You can erase your lines you're not happy with, or you can just cover them up with paint. Speaking of paint, that's the next step, and I am using white acrylic. You can also do this with tempera. That's a little bit of a cheaper option, and it works excellent because tempera paint is very chalky, and so for the subject matter of a skull, it worked beautifully. The acrylic paint works great too, and you are using no water on your brush. This is a dry brush, and you're painting thick. So if you have really small details, just keep in mind when you fold it over, they could smush out. So with the fine lines, paint a little bit thinner around those, and then the big areas of white, you can afford to paint a little bit thicker. I'm just using a flat brush that I have. You could do a multiple brush technique if you want like more fine lines, but I'm keeping this pretty simple. So I'm speeding things up a little bit here since I'm just filling in my drawing. And another option is you can go back, and the areas that are large or the areas you painted first, you can do a second layer of paint if you're worried that your paint dried a little quickly. Acrylic paint does dry fast, and if you're doing this in the classroom, students will want to take forever on this step, so you might want to set a timer or just remind them that it doesn't have to be perfect. Then once you're done, you're going to fold it over, and with your hand, you're going to burnish all surface areas of your paper. So you're going to press down hard. You're going to go multiple directions to make sure that the paint is picking up on the left-hand side. Then you're going to pull your print, and voila, you have a really fun, spooky human skull. I'm going to do another version of this using the same black construction paper, the same technique. I folded it over, opening it back up, and this time I'm going to do a deer skull. This is a really fun take on this technique, and there's something really satisfying about the antlers. I have not drawn a deer skull in a while, so I definitely looked at an image while I was drawing it. I've done this in the classroom before during a Georgia O'Keeffe lesson, and students looked at different variations of deer skulls. Also, they had the option to do a cow skull, which is a really fun option too. And so just focusing on, again, the areas that are black, and then also the areas that are going to stay white. You can try to plan out a bunch of cracks and details, but sometimes it's fun just to let the paint speak for itself. So just like you saw me do before, I'm using the same brush, the same white acrylic paint, and again, tempera is always an option. No water on my brush, and I'm just painting around the eye socket, the nose, the areas that I want to be white. Same technique as before. The fun thing about a deer skull is that pointy nose down at the bottom, and the antlers, I really wish I would have used a bigger piece of paper because I could really have some fun with those antlers. I kind of had to crop them in just because of the limitation of my paper. So if I did this again, I would probably have a longer piece. Just going over my paint here, making sure I have all the details so that when I pull my print, it's good to go. I saved my antlers for last, so I'm going back in and adding paint here, making sure to get the points of the deer. And again, you could go crazy with the antlers. That could be a really fun part. Going back and adding a little bit of paint, but I didn't touch up areas, so you'll see the difference here when I pull the print. I'm burnishing with my hand, making sure to transfer, and since I didn't add a second layer of white paint, let's see if that really makes a difference. Fun. So you can see the left-hand side is missing a little bit of paint, so keep that in mind. And this is such a fun, easy printmaking technique. Thank you so much for sticking around and making art with me. And if you're interested in more tutorials, check these out. Find my website, thatartteacher.com, for full-length lesson plans, student examples, and videos, all for free.